What's going on, everybody? Josh here from Dark Horse Tackle. I've got the October box in my hand. This thing is packed and stacked with baits to help you succeed with that October to the November transition. But before we get into this, let's talk about bass fishing in the middle of fall. We're in October right now, pushing into November. Bass fishing can be very finicky, but can also be some of the best bass fishing you will ever have. Everything in this box is catered to the highs and the lows of that fall bass fishing, guaranteeing you fish throughout those months and the rest of the year, like we always do here at Dark Horse Tackle. With the low temperatures at night and then the rising temperatures during the day, the bass are often moving all throughout the country. Whether you're getting snow right now or it's raining, it's 80 degrees or it's 40 degrees, we've got something in this box to keep you successfully catching bass throughout that entire section into the months of November, into the later fall, getting into winter. That's what we got here in this box. The first bait I'm going to show you all is one of my favorite balsa crankbaits of all time. It is from Black Label. Cliff Pace, our good friend at Black Label, has blessed us with some of the best patterns I've ever seen in crankbaits. And this time we did something different. We actually put a bunch of patterns we've never personally used and some patterns we've actually never seen. So let's get into the October box. This is the Black Label Peanut Balsa Crankbait. This is the color Ladies Man. It is one of my favorite patterns I've ever seen. You've got some green here at the top, a little bite of blue, a nice yellow line down that midpoint of that bait, shad dot as always, with a pink to white belly with that orange bite me mark and the crazy eyes. I love the crazy eyes on these balsa baits. But what's important about this bait is it's that 4 to 6 to 8 foot running crankbait with a bunch of wobble, a bunch of action, a ton of good deflection with this bait. That round bill and the shortness of that bill is going to keep you deflecting throughout whatever you're throwing. The fall is a great month to cover a ton of water. And the best thing about fall is those shad that had spawned earlier in the year, they're all packing up together and bass are looking for forage. That is one of the biggest things about that cool down towards the end of the year is that bass are simply looking to eat because inevitably they will slow down once the winter months hit. And that happens throughout the entire country, whether 60 degrees is the coldest it gets or below freezing is the coldest it gets. Those bass have acclimated themselves to certain temperatures and a certain way of life. They will start slowing down. The impending cold is coming, and this bait will take you all the way through that into the next year, ready to catch you a bunch of bass. Next up, we're going to get into one of our two perfect pairings in this box. It will take you very far. It's an excellent power finesse presentation, and it's one of the most finessey, power finessey, unique jigs I've ever seen. This is the HH Custom Baits Koosh Ball Power Micro XT. And what the XT is it's got this little brush guard right here, really strong hook on here. The hook is just a little bit upgraded from your regular Koosh Ball jig. This is a 3/8 variety, and it is perfectly paired with a new company we're working with, Bait Cave Customs. This is the Dirk's Crawl. Very small chunk Ned style trailer here. Not too much action, but the action of the bait is just naturally letting that bait do the work for you. This is a very good soaking style crawdad where you just kind of let the water move the bait for you. There is not many appendages going to be moving, and it's very realistic as far as what a juvenile crawl would look like. We have paired these up with the HH Custom Baits jigs, and they are just perfect. This color right here that I have on the jig is a new one called Sus Crawl. It's got a little bit of blue crawl, that green pumpkin blue. There is some orange, and there is some very thin silicone green pumpkin here, paired up with a green pumpkin and blue Dirk's Crawl. I am so excited to continue throwing this bait. I just love the presentation and the profile of this small little jig. You can virtually put it anywhere you want, fish any kind of water with it throughout the entire country. This is going to get you bites, and jigs are notorious for that big bite, especially in the fall, especially during that cool down and that warm up with that pre-spawn and that spawn. This jig is going to stay in your tackle box for a very long time. One thing that a lot of people ask me with the HH product specifically is how are you going to rig this? How am I going to rig this very small jig? Now, while this jig may look like a BFS or a spinning gear option, I personally love to throw it on my regular jig setup. I've got a couple jig setups and they just range varying on the actual weight of the jig or what I'm going to be fishing. I'm going to put this on what I consider my all-around jig rod. That is a 7'4" medium heavy, and it's a bit of a moderate fast action. There's a little bit of whip in my tip, if you will, where I can throw almost anything on this rod from a 1/4 ounce all the way up to 2 ounces. There's a really good action on this rod, but I'm pairing it up on just a medium heavy rod. I'm going 30-pound straight braid with a 7-to-8 gear ratio reel. And if I'm feeling a little weird, I will put a 15 to 20-pound fluorocarbon leader connecting to that braid. And that's only if I feel like the fish are really finicky that day. A lot of times I throw straight braid with a ton of my setups, obviously, with the exception of a crankbait or something where that line does depend on the action. But with a lot of my flipping and pitching setups, I'm going to be fishing that thick stuff, right? I want that power and that confidence to just horse a fish out once I set the hook. If I'm throwing this bait into laydowns or big rock piles or into the weeds, the real thick stuff, I want that confidence, that 30-pound braid to just boom, direct connect, hook set, get the fish out, get the fish in the boat, and be more successful with my bass fishing. And that's where a braid makes me feel confident. I just feel like I could be more successful. Next up, we've got the last perfect pairing, the last of the 2 baits in this October box, and it is just a finesse dream with a ton of options that you can utilize with rigging this particular bait. Lastly, we have the Madmouth Bass Offset Blocks EWG Ned, and that is pairing up with the Somatis Baits Somatis Shot. The Somatis Shot, upon looking at it, right, it is a very effective looking drop shot bait. But one thing I've always wanted when throwing these small worms is just a way to throw it weedless, a way to have a direct weight connection and keep it in the thick stuff that I'm flipping with a jig, or I'm throwing a bigger pitching style bait, a beaver bait, or sometimes you won't get bit with a stick worm because you want that small profile. And I'm going to rig it up right here just like this. It is very perfectly weedless once rigged correctly on this EWG Ned, and that is your finished product right there. This is going to go into anything and everything, and you can fish this bait everywhere. Moving water, lakes, rivers, streams, canals, you know the deal. And again, this bait is going to take you very far, but it does thrive on that cool down. There's a lot of small bait fish being gorged upon by bass right now. And this is just one of many ways you can throw that Somatis Shot. One of my favorite ways outside of throwing it on an EWG Ned is I'm going to put this on a lighter spinning gear setup, like a 7-foot light to medium light fast rod. I am going to nose hook this bait weightless. And if I'm feeling a little crazy, I'll just put a very small nail weight, like 1/32 or smaller, into this bait to help it sink just a little faster. But some light twitches and some pauses with this bait will get fish to react very quickly and very aggressively because they see a minnow acting like it's fleeing or if it's in trouble, and that just generates that reaction strike. It is just a need for those fish to react. It's a great trailer. You can put this as a trailer to that HH Customs jig you've got, and then you can just throw it on a regular ball head jig or a Ned rig. But trailering, weightless, on a drop shot, the options for this bait are never ending. And that is one of my favorite things about these finesse style presentations is the versatility of finesse is truly unending, and you can just get away with a lot involving little finesse worms and where you can apply them. Let us know in the comments how you intend to use your Somatis Shot. I also would love to know which pattern of the peanut from Black Label you got. Check out the big selection of wicked weights that we have on our website. For those of you who don't know, this is a great drop shot bait. It's called the Somatis Shot, and we do have wicked weights, chip proof tungsten on our site. You get a discount if you're a subscriber. My favorite weight to throw on a drop shot weight or a free rig, because you can do both with this particular weight from Wicked Weights, is I like a 1/4 ounce to 3/8. I want this bait to get to the bottom very fast so I can work the bait. 3/8 is usually my go-to. Be sure to check out the remaining selection of vector hooks that we have currently on closeout at darkhorsetackle.com. It is the last time you will see those. We restock mainly everything that we get. These will be gone once they're gone. If you're wanting to look up more information on our other subscription product, The Pack, be sure to check out the other video that we have. I'll put the link in the description for the pack video. The November pack is going to be awesome. We're starting to do particular techniques, particular presentations with the pack. The month of October was a jig, pitching, flipping setup where it's going to take you, again, just throughout the entire year. For those guys who love to flip and pitch, you get a jig, 2 flipping baits that work excellent as trailers with that jig. Again, link will be in the description for the October pack, but you're not going to want to miss the November pack. It will not be in the box. Only one of those baits will be in the box. Those of you subscribed to the November box, we will see you in November. Those subscribed to the November pack, we will see you in November. And those of you who want the November pack, we're running low on supplies right now, so check it out. We'll put a link in the description. Dark Horse Tackle, we fish. See you later, everybody.